Devil Wears Prada 2 is out in theaters, and I think there might be a sleeper Oscar nomination coming your way, and it might not be for what you expect. We are bringing you one of our 10-minute or less movie reviews right here on Popcorn and Root Beer. Let's get into it. Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Stanley Tucci, and Emily Blunt are all back for The Devil Wears Prada 2. And I gotta tell you, I went to see it last night, opening night, and it is a fun time. I will tell you that. I want to start this review off with a spoiler warning. I am about to talk about details and storylines and plot devices and some surprises from The Devil Wears Prada 2, so I do not want you to have the movie spoiled if you do not want it spoiled. That being said, now that that's out of the way, let's get into it, because we open up with Andy, played by Anne Hathaway, being fired from her job at a paper as it's being downsized after a corporate takeover. So she winds up being unemployed, looking for a job at the same time that Meryl Streep's Miranda is going through a PR crisis. That Runway has published a story that they were duped, they were lied to, and they basically promoted a sweatshop. So now that that has happened and it's like a huge problem, the CEO of the company brings in Anne Hathaway. So Meryl Streep does Meryl Streep things. Miranda's Miranda. She's rude, but she's functioning in this new era where being Miranda Priestly doesn't really work anymore. You can't be outwardly mean like she normally is. You can't be outwardly hurtful as she normally is. You can't say the things that she was saying. So we get a very different Miranda that's kind of being watched, babysat almost by her assistant. That's like, you can't say that, you can't say this, you can't say that. And Anne Hathaway's character is trying to work her way back in. Stanley Tucci's character of Nigel is still her right-hand man, still the designer, the lead, like, photographer and all that stuff. But Emily Blunt is noticeably absent. It turns out that she is now the creative head of Dior, or running their retail departments and building this, she's having this huge renovation done, all this good stuff with these characters, right? So now they're all coming together, things are happening. The CEO is about to name Meryl the head of global affairs and things like that of the company, like very big promotion for Miranda's character. Guy dies, drops dead. Series of things happen where the son wants to take over, wants to downsize, cost cutting, switching to AI, all that good stuff. Anne Hathaway goes to Emily Blunt, who's dating this bazillionaire guy, and essentially has her buy Runway. It comes out that she is actually, like, Miranda accuses Andy of betraying her. Andy's like, what are you talking about? I just saved the company. And Miranda's like, tell her why you're having him buy the company. It turns out that Emily, played by Emily Blunt, wants to push Miranda out and take over Runway herself because Miranda never thought that Emily could handle it. She wasn't built for it. So that goes down. Big moment of, like, how do we fix this? Miranda and Andy team up to save Runway from being purchased by this billionaire. We get to what I think is the best scene in the movie, is Miranda has Andy call a whole bunch of people. Meanwhile, we get this amazing montage, tons of fashion, tons of people, tons of designers, tons of costuming, and the surprise of the movie that Lady Gaga not only appears, but has a new song that drops on May 1st, so as of this recording, is out, and it is a banger. She's out there, she's performing, she has this, like, hate relationship with Miranda, but, like, Miranda called in a favor to have her perform. It's this huge thing, amazing fashion, and long story short, they wind up saving the company. So here's some of the stuff that people were saying. I was seeing a lot of reviews that said, don't expect the same kind of fashion and iconic looks in this movie. Totally disagree. The fashion in this movie is unbelievable. The costumes and the outfits that Miranda pulls off and her assistant pulls off, and even Anne Hathaway in different cases. Now, there's this one moment where she wears this dress that's supposed to be the show-stopping dress for her, and I gotta tell you, I just don't think it is. I think it's one of the worst outfits she wears in the whole movie, because her outfits are outstanding start to finish. But the fashion in this movie is unbelievable. The music in this movie, unbelievable. And that brings me to the Oscar nomination that I think this movie's going to get and probably win. And that will be Lady Gaga getting nominated for Best Original Song for the song she performs in Milan at the runway. It is unbelievable. It's called Shape of a Woman, I believe. An incredible song. Incredible song. It was so hype. It was so much fun in the theater. Everyone in the theater had a good time. It was definitely worth your time. Now, here's where it was weak. Here's where I thought it was weak. If you're going in expecting Miranda Priestley to be the same Miranda Priestley, you're going to be disappointed. I didn't want a humanized version of her. I wanted her to stay that cold, unfeeling, distant, cutthroat CEO that she was. That does not happen in this. She is much more emotive. She is much more human. She is much more vulnerable in this movie. In the first movie, we don't get any POV shots really of Miranda. It's always through Andy's perspective. She sees it happening. This one, we get a lot of time with Miranda by herself, like doing things with her new husband, who's played by Kenneth Branagh, played well. So I thought that was a weakness. Another weakness was the shoehorned relationship that Andy gets into. Wasn't a huge fan, didn't really need to happen. But it was fine otherwise. I do think this movie did a great job of voicing support for traditional journalism, being anti-AI, also being a sequel that wasn't trying to just redo the original and retread those tires and do that stuff. It was its own thing. Not quite the rewatchability of the original, not quite the iconic performance of the original, but it's so clear that these actors are just in tune with these characters because they step right back in. It's an amazing, amazing thing to watch as they slipped right back in. It's as if no time has passed. And it's such a good cast. They have so much charm, so much like love, so much talent. It was absolutely a good time. So while the weaknesses are certainly present in that it's a bit lovey-dovey, it's a bit sappy and nice compared to the first one. There's not that fear of like being sucked in and losing yourself to this like kind of dark underworld that they framed fashion as. They very much frame fashion as like this much nicer like thing that has to exist or else we'll lose some institution that has helped the world, which I think it has. I think there's a place for fashion always. So final ratings. I promised you under 10 minutes. Here we are. We're under 10 minutes. Final rating for this, I would say this is a solid 7.2. Certainly not something that you absolutely, no matter what, have to go see. But if you liked the original, if you loved the original, if you even sort of like we're okay with the original, I think you'll enjoy this. Almost has a heist movie feel to it at certain points. So I definitely recommend giving it a shot. I think you'll enjoy it. I think most people will very much enjoy The Devil Wears Prada 2. Again, my final rating is a 7.2. And go see it in theaters because the music, the energy, the montages, the things that make The Devil Wears Prada kind of iconic, they're all there. So thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me for this quick review of The Devil Wears Prada 2. Please like, subscribe, and share this video and this channel. If you are new and if you enjoy this kind of stuff, I'm going to try to do this as much as possible. I'm hoping to see Hokum soon and have a review out for that as well. So again, like, subscribe, share. And until next time, my name is Steve, and that's a wrap.